Welcome. Well, you are at home with Jim and Joy, and you are an important part of our EWTN family, and we're delighted that you have welcomed us into your home. You know, we would love to hear from you, so send us an email with any of your questions or your comments to jimandjoy@ewtn.com. Well, darling, today's show is especially inspiring. We're going to look back at a recent interview that we had with Bob Lujano. Now, his arms and his legs were amputated because of a very rare blood disease that he had. Did he give up? No. He lives by his motto, no arms, no legs, no problem. And we're going to hear how his faith and his spirit helped him to overcome the challenge of a lifetime.
Bob Lujano is one of the most beautiful human beings we've ever met. Just absolutely wonderful. And Joy, those amputations took place when he was 9 years old.
Yes.
Imagine 9 years old, and he gets this rare strain of meningitis, and they have to amputate his arms and his legs so that the rest of his body doesn't get poisoned by this. Imagine growing up 9, 10, 11, 12, the teenage years, everything's about self-image and how you look and so on. And he went through all of those years courageously and had to face those challenges. It's just absolutely amazing. He's a great athlete. He's a Paralympian athlete. He's won a bronze medal. He does wheelchair rugby. He's a tough guy. He don't mess around. I just wanted to share a brief story because you're going to see a tremendous show, a tremendous testimony. But in between the segments we did, when he was done, and then we had a final segment without him, he was sitting there on the couch. This is not included on the show. And you said to him, do I need to move the table so you could get down? He had to get down off of the couch. And somehow he like popped off the couch, hit the floor, and used his nubs or whatever he had there, and just bounced down again, and then got himself up into the wheelchair. He was sweating. His muscles were coming out of his back. And I want to tell you, our cameramen, everybody, everything stopped just to watch what this man did. And it was such an inspirational moment, something that he does, you know, every day, all the time. It's a great, great testimony to his life, to the human spirit, and to those that have special disabilities, and what they do day by day with such a great and wonderful attitude. So this is a show you will never forget, a man you'll never forget, a man full of courage, a man full of faith, a man full of spirit, and you should be inspired to live and be all that you can and to be the best steward of all that you have for the glory of God.
Well, he just put the whole thing in perspective. You know, we can all complain about we're having a bad day, this isn't going right, that isn't going right. This young man, no arms, no leg, no problems, and he means it. And what a witness.
Yeah.
So you don't want to miss this show.
We did want to say that since our show, Bob Lujano did get married to Wendy, so it's another part of the beautiful story. So enjoy this time, be inspired, and we'll see you in a little bit.
Welcome. Well, you are at home with Jim and Joy, and today we have a wonderful young man with us. His name is Bob Lujano. Now, he is a motivational speaker. He's a Paralympic athlete, and he's authored a book called No Arms, No Legs, No Problems. Rather amazing. So, Bob, we want to welcome you to At Home with Jim and Joy, and we're delighted that you're here. And we've seen you around in the Birmingham area. You've showed up at some of our banquets and for Her Choice Birmingham Women's Center. But today, and we've seen you at marches, so you're pretty active, you get out and about. We want you to tell your life story, how you came to be in the situation that you are right now.
Oh, it's my honor to be here as well, so thank you. I was living in Kansas at the time. My parents had divorced, and my dad got custody, but he couldn't take care of us and work because we were still very young, me and my sister, my older sister, Lisa. So they moved us to Kansas, where his mother, my grandmother Hope, raised us. And it was there that I very much got to embrace our Catholic faith, because my grandmother Hope was very much devout Catholic, pray the rosary in the morning and the last thing at night. And she was also very much telling us, well, we're going to go to Mass, but, you're not just going to do 60 minutes and then go home. You're going to be part of the CCD class. You're also going to be a lector, and an altar boy, excuse me. First, you're going to be an altar boy. And then as I grew, being involved in the church, I continued on and became a lector. And now I'm actually a Eucharistic minister at Prince of Peace Catholic Church. But, it was at that time that I very much got to embrace our Catholic faith. On January 7th, 1979, I contracted a rare form of meningitis called meningococcosemia. And basically what happened is that the illness entered my bloodstream, and it prevented blood circulation. If you have a bruise, that's an area where there was no blood circulation. Well, my whole body was a bruise, and it was eventually getting to my heart. And as the doctor said to me, you're going to die. There's nothing we can do for you. We said last rites, had a priest come in, got to say goodbye to the family, and went to sleep, and wasn't supposed to wake up.
You're how old?
9 years old.
Yeah.
But I woke up, and that was the blessing of it. And even though I didn't have my legs, and then a month later I'd lose my hands and go through many blood transfusions and operations, I was alive. And I knew at that time, even as young as I was, that that really affirmed my faith in God, that He wanted me alive for a reason.
Right.
Not sure the reason. Definitely prayed about just wanting to play with my cousins, and just wanted to go back to school. What sports was I going to play? These are things that were in my mind.
Yeah.
Didn't worry too much about them. Just prayed about them. And the Lord provides, as He always does. And He first provided with a family. My family has been just instrumental. My immediate family and my external family. My dad was very instrumental in me helping to deal with disability. Probably the most difficult part of having a disability is the mental aspect.
Yeah.
I look different. That's not going to change. So one time, whenever a person might have been laughing or pointing or staring, he had a way of just being able to make it funny or make it a joke, and made the situation light. I never felt from him that he was embarrassed to have a child with a disability. And once I saw that from him, then there was no reason for me to be ashamed or insecure about who I am. And after that, it was all pretty much downhill as far as realizing there was a lot of things ahead of me. There was a lot of operations. As a matter of fact, once I got out of the hospital after 6 months, I went up to the Rehabilitation Institute of Chicago, up in Chicago, Illinois. And I was about to begin a 9-month rehab stint, and it was at that time that we got a message that Pope John Paul II was going to be in Chicago. It was his second stop of his world tour. And we just so happened to be there and get tickets, and I'll never forget it. We were there at the site of the cathedral, at All Saints Cathedral. He comes out of the cathedral after giving a service, and it was at night, and he just kind of really lit up the whole area. You could just see the presence of the Lord with him. I don't know how to explain it other than that. And then he comes down the platform, because they had put me at the edge of a platform. The police were there helping. My good friend Jim Zawitt was there helping. And he comes down the platform, and he looks right at me and gives me a blessing in Latin, I guess the official liturgical blessing. And he also provided me with the rosary, which he blessed as well. So, that moment, again, just kind of affirmed that the Lord is with me, and I was going to begin my rehab stint away from family, away from friends. And that really gave me the motivation to continue to get through this and to get through the rehab and move on with my life. And after coming back from rehab, it was time to get back into school. And probably the most difficult part of going back to school was PE class. I was literally kind of told to sit off here at the side and, just sit here and play checkers and watch everyone else have fun. And, and after a couple of months, it was like, well, I'm done playing checkers. Give me the football. And let's just throw the football around. All right. Now you guard him, and you run a route, and you rush the passer. And I had 7-on-7 touch football going on. It was then that the coaches there said, well, let's get him in to do some of the PE things that we're doing. And I just found a way to adapt whatever sport was going on so I could participate. And actually, that's actually illegal right now to not, because of the 1973 Rehabilitation Act, it prevents from anyone from discriminating in a public school. So a person that may have a disability, a physical disability, for them to be excluded is actually against the law. And that's kind of some of the things that I work on today, and I'll talk about that later. Probably the most interesting part after I got through that with PE was, graduating. I graduated high school. It was a very, I guess, emotional moment, just being able to endure everything and to go on to school. I then went on to, at University of Texas at Arlington was my first school, and it was there that I had my first structured activity for a person with a physical disability. I didn't get it in public school. It was here at the University of Texas at Arlington. They had a wheelchair basketball team, and that was the first time I had seen wheelchair basketball. I wasn't on the team, but I actually got to participate and practice with them. And, that group of guys very much, that were on that team were very much, the leaders of that school, and people came to the wheelchair basketball games. And even now at University of Texas at Arlington, there's a wheelchair basketball program that goes on. After that experience, I then went on to school at University of Tennessee, and I studied sport management and recreation. It was there, after graduating, I went on to Atlanta, Georgia, and worked for the 96 Olympic Games. I don't know if you remember that, the 96 Paralympic Games.
Yes.
And it was there
Greece?
that I'm sorry?
In Greece?
No, the
In
96
Atlanta.
Paralympic Games in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah.
Atlanta,
Yeah.
okay.
So I was working there, and it was there that I very much was introduced to the sport of wheelchair rugby. Wheelchair rugby is a full wheelchair contact sport. We literally hit each other so hard that we knock each other.
That's a lot of contact.
Yes, and that's the object of the sport. It's played on a basketball court. You have 10 seconds to inbound, 12 seconds across midcourt, and you get to the other end of the court by crossing to the goal with the ball. You have to bounce the ball and pass to a teammate once every 10 seconds. And the other team stops you by slamming into you.
Yeah.
If you get a turnover and score, you're probably going to win the game. It's a matter of just getting turnovers and scoring. But
So
it's very fast.
So you're in the wheelchair.
We're in the rugby
Are
chair.
you strapped in the wheelchair?
Yes, I'm strapped
Okay.
in. most of the
Helmet?
time. No, we don't
No
use helmets.
You don't use helmets.
No.
And you're crashing into each other.
Yeah.
Do the wheelchairs pretty stable? Do you go down and?
Well, if you get hit at the right spot, yeah, you can get knocked over. You can't hit anybody from behind. That's illegal. But if you hit them real hard on the side or the front, most of the guys that play, most of the men and women that play wheelchair rugby have spinal cord injuries, so their balance is impaired. So that could be as they're trying to throw the ball or they're pushing too fast, you can hit them and knock them over. So it's very fast, very physical. The United States Quad Rugby Association, usqra.org, you can find more information about wheelchair rugby and being involved. But at the end of the day, being a part of that sport, and for the last 20 years I've played wheelchair rugby, it very much has given me the opportunity to have an independent life, have a competitive sport opportunity. And it actually allowed me to go to the Paralympic Games in Athens, Greece,
That's
2004. I was
Yeah.
selected. And it was there that we won the bronze medal. But being on the U.S. team, and I was there from 98 to 2006, it's the most difficult thing I ever had to go through. They don't give you a spot on the team just because
Right.
you have a disability
Right.
or because you're
You
good
have to
looking.
earn it.
Yes, you have to earn it. And there's drills you have to participate in. You even had to sign code of conduct saying you're not going to get in trouble with the law or find illicit pictures on the internet. So it's very much, it should be very much a high calling, if you will. So I very much embraced that opportunity. I didn't want to be that person that was kicked off the team because of
Right.
improper conduct and things of that nature. So at the end of the day, it was a very rewarding experience. We did win the bronze medal. We wanted to win the gold, but the bronze medal was what we got. And you can find a lot of this captured in the movie Murderball, the documentary. The Murderball that was nominated for Academy Award. And again, at the end of the day, it very much captured our struggle as a U.S. rugby team to get to that bronze medal game. After that, I then found a job here at Lakeshore Foundation. Lakeshore Foundation has been around for over 20 years, and we provide recreation opportunities to people with disabilities. And as I was hired on in '98, I was a recreation specialist working with kids and youth, and basically teaching them how to play recreational activities. A lot of the things that I did when I was in high school to adapt sports is kind of the same things that I was teaching them. So at the end of the day, you can almost say that it was because of my disability, it was allowed me to have the job that I have, because it very much
Right.
was a benefit to be able to teach people, young people, the experiences I went through and how to live independently, how to pick things off the floor, how to open the door and get through it with your wheelchair. These are things that people need to know, kids need to know.
Right.
So after being here at Lakeshore for 13 years and serving our youth with disabilities, our seniors with disabilities, our military with disabilities, it's just a rewarding experience to know that Lakeshore Foundation, which is an official Olympic and Paralympic training site, is very much designated to serving people with disabilities. And if you go to lakeshore.org, you can find out all the ways that you can get involved to very much look to serve our troops and serve our members. But at the end of the day, it's an outstanding experience being a part of Lakeshore Foundation. And Right now, over the last 4 years, I've been with the National Center on Health, Physical Activity, and Disability, which is located at Lakeshore Foundation. And our mission there is to very much promote what I call, I guess, disability agenda, promoting inclusion. If you ever go into a building and there's accessible parking, and if you go up to a door, you can push a button and it opens up. These actually benefit everyone.
Everyone.
So at the end of the day, to have accessible entrances and have accessible restrooms and things of that nature, that makes it very much an inclusive society. Look at your own neighborhood. See if you have curb cuts or sidewalk ramps in your neighborhood. If you have that, then you'll probably see people with disabilities that use mobility devices that can walk around and be a part of their community. And these are things that I very much look to promote, that we at NCPAD look to promote. And I recently, a couple years ago, went to D.C. and actually got to speak to the First Lady and tell her the importance of inclusion in her program called Let's Move. And we also kicked off a Commit to Inclusion. You can go to committtoinclusion.org. And there's very ways for a community to get involved, for coalitions to form, to make sure that there are inclusive facilities, inclusive neighborhoods. So, just I'd mentioned about a neighborhood. If there's ramps in a neighborhood, you can see people that may be pushing in their neighborhood. We started a campaign called How I Walk. And, the way you walk is going to be different for me.
Right.
But as long as I'm out there pushing around and going around my neighborhood, then I can very much lead a healthy, active lifestyle in my neighborhood. So, these are just things that at NCPAD we get to be involved in to very much promote, when I say the disability agenda, something like person-first language. In years we had derogative terms for people with disabilities. Now I'm a person with a disability, and I'm content with that because I am a person first. And, at the end of the day, these are just things that we look to promote. So very much the last 18 years that I've been here, it's very much been a blessing. Those prayers I had when I lost my limbs, what job I was going to have, what purpose does a person with a disability have? The Lord provided that, and He's provided it every day when I go to work at Lakeshore Foundation, being a part of a wheelchair rugby team, and very much be a person with a disability living a healthy, active lifestyle.
You're not excited about your life, are you, and what you do?
Struggle and suffering is part of our lives too, and it's really easy to get down on the dumps and to do the why me, and those are human emotions, and there's nothing wrong experiencing those. But to me, it's at that moment that God is there, that Christ is present, that He's reaching out to you, that it's like, all right, I'm here. And that's really what has sustained me, is just knowing that this just didn't happen for a reason. This wasn't because things were done bad in the past or what have you. It was very much a way to show me as an opportunity to reach out for Him, and to really very much affirm the faith that I've always known and have, and to continue it, to realize that it doesn't matter how difficult things are, He does provide. The prayers might not be answered right now, but there's a greater purpose, there's a greater direction, and really what that verse really hits on is just, you're praying for strength and faith and patience right now, and those things really just don't happen. And in regards to myself and in regards to all the suffering, I very much embraced it and very much was thankful for it, because I knew there was a direction, there was a purpose. I had over 20 operations, and at the end of the day, I survived all of them. And to me, it was a reflection of His love and His continuing, I guess, faith in me, if you will, and knowing that there was a purpose. And when you're 9 or 10 years old, going through surgeries, you just want to get over them and go home and play, with your cousins and brothers and nephews. And at the end of the day, I just knew that as I got through them, that it was taking me to another direction, to somewhere else. My life has very much been going in different places and meeting different people. And one place that really got my strength was going up to Coleman to meet Mother Angelica. It was very much in 2002, where me and my Uncle Richard, he came to visit me from Kansas, and he just wanted to go just to go see the Shrine of the Blessed Sacrament. And he just wanted to go. And when we were there, we were giving a tour, we just asked, is there any chance to see Mother? Is Mother in? And some of her sisters were there, and they went out and they grabbed her and brought her in. And it was literally right after she had gone through some serious health issues. She had just come home from the hospital. And as I looked at her and talked with her, and even though she couldn't talk at the time, I could still see in her eyes the strength to know that, hey, I went through this, but I'm okay. And I still am going to be a part of, the Blessed Sacrament. I'm still going to be part of the church community. And seeing that strength in her eyes and knowing what she's going through, you know, that very much made me realize, you know, I'm in the right place. I'm in the right direction. And, you know, being able to meet her, again, was just more affirmation of having faith and knowing that the Lord is going to provide and take you places you've never been. You know, I recently, about a year ago, went to Israel, and I presented my book at a conference. And as afterwards, we went to Jerusalem and went to, you know, to the Wailing Wall. And you know, if you read those Psalms at the wall, they're very powerful, especially the ones on Jerusalem. And then going to the shrine of the Blessed Sacrament, to me the most holy place, and for all Christians the most holy place where Christ died. And just seeing the tomb and just being there. I actually had to climb up the stairs to get to the tomb. People were wondering, how are you going to get up there? And I just got out of my chair and hopped up. So again, just having those experiences, meeting the people there.
People who are really struggling, maybe physical disabilities or whatever, and I think it's important to say, you know, God can take it when we're not praising Him.
Yes.
You know, or you're saying like why, and it's negative, or you don't want to curse God, you don't want to make it a habit, but He can even take that if you do that, right? I mean, that's so important to let people know God's still committed to you.
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, you have to be yourself, because that's how He created you to be. And you know, it's through the struggling that He's reaching out to you, and it'll change you in the way you respond to Him. You know, it could be derogative, it could be, you know, pleasant, but at the end of the day, you got to be who you are, because that's how He created you, and this is a way that He's reaching out to you. And there's nothing wrong with saying thanks.
Tell us about this medal.
Sure. Well, that was the silver medal that we won at the World Championship in Sweden. It was, again, we were supposed to finish with gold, but I'm happy with silver. The box was created by my Aunt Mary Navarro that lives in Newton, Kansas. But so very much, this is what I usually take around when I give speeches and lectures. But yes, this was made in Sweden and got to.
What kind of moment was that for you in life?
Oh well, well, it's featured in the documentary Murder Ball, and actually we were all pretty sad because we were supposed to win the gold, but we won the silver. And again, you know, I always look at this as a joyful moment, because I worked very hard. And as a matter of fact, I think I wore my silver medal. There's usually a reception afterwards, and I wore it, and I don't think anyone else did on the U.S. team. But I wore mine because I worked hard to get there. And it was a way of just saying, yes, I know it's not gold, but I'm very happy with the effort. Yes, we wanted gold, but this is what you got. And at the Paralympic level, you earn what you get. You know, there's nothing given to you. So if you win a silver medal, you win a silver medal. If you win a bronze, you win a bronze. You win a gold, you win a gold. But I was very thankful for that, and you know, very much embraced that moment. So,
what do you feel your life message is to people?
That no matter how difficult life is, no matter how much struggle you go through, how much suffering you go through, give thanks to God, and know that this is His time, that He's reaching for you, and take that suffering and give thanks. And yeah, there's nothing wrong with praying for a cure and to be healed. Those are beautiful things to pray for, but just use that time through your suffering to find joy, because it's real easy to get depressed and think life's over, but give thanks to what you have and what you've been through.
Bob, thank you just for being who you are. You are a tremendous blessing. May the best be yet to come in your life, and I know that you've inspired so many people throughout this area, throughout the country, throughout the world, so keep up your great work.
I'll do. You too, Jim and Joy. Thank you.
Thank you.
You can go to boblujano.com. That's BOBLUJANO.com. You can get a story there, teachings, the book, boblujano.com. We'll be right back. Please don't go away.
Welcome back. Well, I know that you enjoyed Bob Lujano, because he certainly helps us put our everyday problems right into perspective. What a beautiful and great story. Well, now how does someone become a saint? Wednesday, we will find out when our guest will be William Gallo. He explains the steps being taken on behalf of Venerable Father Anthony Gallo as they travel down the road to canonization. You won't want to miss this beautiful journey. remember that you are always at home with Jim and Joy, and you are an important part of our EWTN family. Have a blessed day.